to a transformative journey right here on Twitchy Tuesdays. Today, we're going to clean out the broom closet. We're going to get into the celestial insights of the week, and it is a juicy week for sure. Then we're going to plunge into the very interesting channeled message that I got for the Scorpio New Moon. We're going to talk all about it. We're also going to level set on Mercury that is ingressing into Sagittarius. And we're also going to talk about the profound wisdom that Palace Athena is going to be able to provide for us, really for Pluto and Scorpio. You'll want to stay tuned till the end because that is where I offer my Twitchy tip of the week. And I've got a handful of them this week. Very poignant, very to the point. And it, that segment, that's where we just figure out how to ride the waves. How do we just get through all of this? So it's time to break open the unknown, embark on this journey together of self-discovery, of healing, thriving, and growing. Let's begin our cosmic adventure together. We are going to learn the astrology and we're going to stay for the tarot. All right, let's clean out the broom closet. I need, this. Oh, hello, already cards popping out. This program. Oh, look, the tower popped out first. Well, let's just leave that. We're going to look, this wants to be left right. This is the whole mood for today. This is the whole Twitchy Tuesday. This is the whole mood for today. We got the tower right up front. Okay, well, now that this done get out the way, now that this shit is out the way, let's put that here and get this energy out of here. Man, they're already Two of Swords. They're already giving the messages. All right, we're going to ground. Everybody take a breath with me. Hold at the top and release slowly. All right, we have grounded in. Let's clean out the broom closet before we get into any other crazy scorpionic energy that wants to come out. So on 11/7, that is today. Palace Athena, who is currently in Libra, opposes the North Node in Aries at 24 degrees, 46 minutes. Tomorrow on 11/8, Venus will finally head into Libra. We already talked about her journey. We talked a lot last Twitchy Tuesdays about her headed into Libra. I don't know if y'all have been feeling it. I have been feeling Venus getting ready to finally be like in just her sign, in her moment. I've been doing makeup the last week and a half. I've been like just really enjoying those kind of beautification of things that Venus is bringing in. On the same day on 11/8, Mercury and Scorpio will sextile Pluto in Capricorn. That's going to happen at 28 degrees, 6 minutes. And we're going to talk a lot about Pluto here. We've got some very interesting Pluto things coming up. On 11/10, Mercury will head into Sag. So Mercury is going to go first before anybody else gets into Sagittarius. And then we talked about this last week too. Immediately on ingress, Mercury squares Saturn at 0 degrees, 33 minutes. Then on the same day, the 10th, so 10th has got a little bit of an intense energy signature, the tower. Juno and Virgo will trine Jupiter retrograde in Taurus, and that will occur at 9 degrees, 27 minutes. And then 11/11 happens, and 11/11 is a portal day, first and foremost. It's a wonderful day. Like, I love that we had 2 cards that popped out. It's a day of unity. We also have a 2 over here and the 2 of Swords. It's a day of harmonizing. It's a day of opening. I always get this image in my head of like 2 gateways, like any gateway that you've ever seen in a movie, whether that is The Neverending Story, whether that's The Lord of the Rings, whether that's like anything monolithic that stands pillared to each other that is representative of something that you have to walk through, always reminds me of the energy of 11/11. It's this coming into insight and coming into Two of Swords, coming into clarity, coming into, like, I love that the Tower's here also represented in this energy. It's coming into the deep awareness of what you have to walk through, what you have to transition through, in order to get to the next level. We've talked a lot over the last couple of Twitchy Tuesdays, this concept of like being on the right elevator. A portal day can help you kind of initiatory that step up higher. On portal day, Mars and Scorpio will also oppose Uranus retrograde and Taurus. We're going to talk a lot about Mars as well today. 21 degrees, 8 minutes. That's the other, first off, right? Here we go, Tower moment. But on a portal day like that, Mars opposing Uranus retrograde and Taurus is profound. It's a wonderful synchronization, a wonderful gift from the universe, because whatever is shaking it up, whatever is shaking your shit up, you get this really intense clarity coming in with it. And that then bleeds into the next day and then further into the 13th, where we have Sirius in Scorpio trining Neptune retrograde in Pisces at 25 degrees, 2 minutes. And then the sun in Scorpio will oppose Uranus retrograde in Taurus at 21 degrees, 4 minutes. And that, my friends, is the day of the Scorpio new moon. So that is November 13th. That is cleaning out the broom closet of the week. And a lot of these we are going to talk about more in detail, because this is really all kind of budding up to this Scorpio new moon. One thing that I noticed, and they're telling me these were the messages that wanted to come out for that segment. But one of the things that was really interesting to me as I was sitting kind of getting all of my thoughts together for this show was, where's Chiron? Like, I know Chiron's always with us. I know Chiron's always working, but I had to like check my honeycomb to make sure I didn't forget to like put Chiron on my honeycomb this year, because I just got a new one. And I'm like, did I miss putting Chiron on? Like, where is Chiron? What has he been? Where's his aspects right now? And outside of the moon, he really hasn't been like a prime contender like he was a few months ago. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I thought it was interesting. I had to check myself. Chiron is obviously present, but he's kind of in that, like, taking that back seat, taking that very, taking a very quiet, very perspective, very, because he's obviously still retrograde, will be for a little while longer, but he's kind of taking that assessment. He's listening, he's watching, he's observing, but it's very like, I just want to see you perform. And then we're going to, when I get direct, we'll have some things to talk about. And I did check, he will oppose Venus on November 22nd. That's the next time where he's going to make a direct aspect to a planet. So, and then he'll station direct in December. I believe it's December. Yes, station direct December 26th. So right before Jupiter stations direct. So he's here. Just know Chiron is always with us. Thought it was a good thing to bring up. And the other thing that I had found really interesting as I was looking at all the transits of the month of November, getting, setting all the times and everything like that, was a lot of our aspects this month, a bunch of our ingresses, like pretty much most of these core meetups that we're going to be talking through occur really, really early in the morning, like 1 to like 4 a.m. every morning, and that's Central Time Zone. And so I kind of just, I don't know about everybody else, but for me, the last month and a half, really, like when eclipse season started really picking up, It's been 2 a.m. club for me. So, up in the middle of the night, not really, like, just kind of doing little things, getting the little check marks done on the things that I wanted to. So either you're going to get really, really great sleep, or this energy can have you joining me at the 2 a.m. club over on X, because that's typically what I'm doing. I'm typically going through X and responding, making posts, etc. So yeah, if you are ever joining the 2 a.m. club, 9 of Cups, there's plenty of room for everyone. There's excitement for all. If you ever want to join the 2 a.m. club with me, that is where I will be at. Okay. We are now going to talk through Mercury and Sag, Palace Athena and Scorpio, and then we will do the wham dinger of this week, the Scorpio New Moon. So Mercury and Sag, to level set, Mercury and Sag is in his detriment, which means he is on the opposite side of his home sign. So Gemini Sagittarius is the access point. So when a planet's in its detriment, it's just on the opposite side of its home sign. And it's not exactly like being in your detriment. It's not a place of significance. It's not a place of power. There's a lot that Mercury has to do in Sag to like elevate himself into those really wonderful Gemini qualities, really wonderful Virgo qualities that he has naturally. It takes a little bit more, essentially. Like, he's still got them. It just takes a little bit more to remind, to bring out, etc. And the way that I kind of thought through Mercury and Sag was Sagittarius being fire. I've always aligned Sagittarius fire with the fire of the hearth. So this is that home, that comfort fire. It's, it's mutable. So it has some space to like grow and ebb and flow within the fireplace, but it's still confined within the fireplace. And that's really, when Mercury gets into Sagittarius, that's really the key piece. Is Mercury and Sag can become a bonfire, can become this big thing, can make you want to go outside and like, oh yeah, let's go party. Let's go do these things. Let's get unfocused. Let's not like, yeah, we can make those decisions and not have to worry about thinking it all the way through. Where we really want the fire to remain in the enclosure of the fireplace, right? We want it to be just enough to warm the home. We don't need this like hugely like super heated fire that makes it really, really hot. You want it to be just enough to give you what you need. It's temperament. It's like tempering the flame of Sagittarius to get the best out of Mercury. Mercury and Sag needs focus. It needs that fireplace to contain it. It needs something to not just be way up high and be doing all the things that it wants to do. It needs direction. It needs concentration. It needs grounding. There's this element of Mercury and Sag where you can overpromise and underdeliver because you're excited, right? Sagittarius season is, it's fun. There's a lot of community things that happen during Sag season. It's about like collective learning and wanting to grow and develop more and like explore more and like dip your toes into kind of everything to see what sticks and to see what you then want to carry into Capricorn season and begin to like build and climb up your mountain on. So it can be like, yeah, I'm going to say yes to everything. I'm going to say yes to everything. You want me to do a 12-page PowerPoint? I can do that. And you want me to do, I can do that too. And you just keep like adding on the yeses. Another like saying yes to multiple holiday parties and not being able to fulfill that yes, not being able to show up in the way that you wanted to show up because you are overextending yourself. Can be another really big thing with Mercury and Sag. Remember what you say matters. That can be a piece where Mercury doesn't go all the way through the process of thinking through the words that they're using and how it affects everyone, because it makes sense, right? This makes sense right here. This makes sense the way that I said it, how I said it. But you want to know that the words you choose to use matter. They matter to the person that you're using them with. They matter if that person is you internally. What you say matters. The words you choose to use to say the things you want matters. So how do you work with a Mercury and Sag, and how do you, get some of this focus and this direction and concentration? And really, it comes back to not like forgetting what Mercury has just been through in Scorpio. It's being able to look at the fire, look at your home, meditate on it, provide a method of stillness in your thought processes, in your speaking processes, provide a moment of reflection. So let's say you do a really big meeting or you do a really big class or something like that, and you take your time to like decompress from that moment and go, how did I show up? How did I talk? How did I use my words accurately? Did I overpromise anything? Could I have adjusted this more? And honestly, a lot of it is just being quiet, being with yourself, not feeling the need to always say something. 7 of Swords just popped out. Not everything with these 2 swords being left behind, not everything needs to be said. Not everything that happens up here needs to come out of here. I could tell you personally, you don't want to hear all the things that happen in here, right? It's taking a moment to really understand, with all of these swords that he's carrying, understand which swords you want to rely on, you want to bring forward, you want to utilize, what words you want to utilize, what direction you want to take. Like, take time to think about it. Don't just rush into it. Even like this whole moment of Mercury and Sag will not want you to do this, right? Mercury and Sag wants to like, okay, I'm out of the water. I'm out of this like swampy, fixed land that had me kind of trudging through some things. And now I get to fly and I get to like really have a great time in Sag. It's not about what Mercury and Sag wants. It's about what you need. It's about what you need in order to continue. Again, that 7 of Swords, continue carrying the swords forward that you need to carry. So that's Mercury and Sag. Palace Athena in Scorpio. So Palace Athena ingresses into Scorpio. Whoa, 3 cards came out. Or 4? We have 4 cards. Ooh, nice cards too. Yay, 4 cards. All right, so we have Temperance that came out, number 1. The Hermit that came out, number 2. Death. Hello, King of Wands came out last. So I actually am feeling these as like a split. So Death and the King of Wands together, Temperance and the Hermit together. Palace Athena and Scorpio ingresses into 1119. So here is the Hermit and Temperance. And Athena, we've talked about Athena before, but just to level set, she is warrior. She is our courage. She represents truth and wisdom, strategic thinking, problem solving, learning. One of her avatars is the owl, right? She's got one of her familiars, maybe is a better word for that, is the owl. So there is both within the Hermit and in Temperance, there is this level of wisdom that is coming out as Palace Athena heads into Scorpio. What I love about the Temperance is it kind of reminds me overall of just Athena's energy, right? Here is this goddess that is of multiple things. So not only is she a warrior and has the energy and the foresight to make war happen and change the course of history and change the world, but she does so in a way that is strategic. It's problem solving. It's not just, it has thought behind it. It's not just like, oh, yep, I don't like this person, so I'm going to go and start a war over here. It's much more elevated than that. It's much more, what's the word I'm looking for? Yep, it lost me. So it's much more than that for Athena. And then we have the Hermit, which again, this is that strategic thinking, that problem solving part. The Hermit also reminds me of the owl. So when she gets into Scorpio, how do those traits of Athena become more intense? Here comes the Death and the King of Wands. So how do they become more intense or have increased depth to them? We've got that scorpionic energy. She is a goddess. So this is especially, and Scorpio is feminine related, in the feminine energies of intuition, creativity, and sight. How does the traits of Athena, being this courage seeker, this truth seeker, the warrior, the wisdom, the strategic thinker, the problem solver, become more intense, become more like, this is what I'm getting with the King of Wands, become more than what it is now. There's an ability to, even with the King of Wands here, I love that there's a little lizard down here. Look at the baby lizard. There's an ability here to uncover hidden truths. That's wonderful, like all the work that Scorpio does. Investigating that problem solving area with a deep sense of passion. Very, very King of Wands. What I am really aligning this death to is how she is getting into Scorpio. She is absolutely going to be helping Pluto finish out Capricorn. She is in Pluto's sign of Scorpio. She is here to provide that level of problem solving, strategic thinking, wisdom, etc. to Pluto as he finishes out that 28-degree point for the literal final time in our lifetime, and then go finish out Capricorn altogether and head into Aquarius. So I really am feeling, and with this death here, which I'm relating to Pluto and all that he is doing right now, there's this tie together that I feel like her time in Scorpio is placed as such to be very, very, very supportive of Pluto. And she's almost like, how can I help you? She's like extending that olive branch, which is, one of her, one of the items that she's commonly associated with. Here's my olive branch. How can I help you? What power do you need from me? What wisdom and insight do you seek from me, Pluto? And maybe that's it. Maybe Pluto went out and was seeking her out. Like, hey, I'm seeking you out. I need some support here as I finish this, as I finally finish everything. So from our perspective down here, right, from our little viewpoint, our window into this world, Pluto now has an ally. So if Pluto has an ally, what are you going to do about that? Palace Athena and the goddess asteroids, they're not in your face. They're almost like the energies of like you must seek in order to find. You've got to want to have that presence in your life. You have to seek out that energy signature. And so if that's not something that you work with normally as the goddess asteroids, like how Pluto has this effect, we're working with Pluto. Maybe it's time to see if you can tap into Palace Athena to help you with anything that Pluto is transitioning in your life. Ask for that support about, hey, how do I problem solve this? How do I overcome this? How do I get up that mountain that, Pluto's requiring me to go to do? The other thing that I thought was really interesting, because Palace Athena continues to come up, is we actually watched the Knights of the Zodiac. It was what it was. I enjoyed it. It wasn't a horrible movie by any stretch of the look. This tower is not stopping. Wasn't a horrible movie. It just was what it was. But that movie is completely based around Athena. So if you've never like dipped into Athena as, you know, a goddess or anything like that, not that that's like giving you all of her background, but it can be that introduction, right? A lot of how you begin to work with archetypes is by watching movies or reading books where archetypes are present, and being able to identify those archetypes and just understand a little bit more. How do you get to know Saturn? Well, what types of people are Saturnian? What types of movies have a Saturnian theme? Let me read a book about Saturn and connect with him deeper. That's how you can connect with that archetypal energy, to begin to like figure out how that shows up for you in your life. So Pluto's got an ally. We're leaving this back on the board because we are about ready to head to the Scorpio new moon. All right. Scorpio new moon. Let me get this. This was, I just started laughing when they gave me the image for this Scorpio new moon, because it was so like, and then I had to remember there's another side of things that I need to channel into as well. But the image that they gave me was of a laundromat. It was the laundromat. And, you know, I just always picture a laundromat as like this whirling noise, kids screaming, like just this like hamster wheel of like a place where it's like, man, okay, all of the washers are going and they're making the same noise. All of the dryers are going and you can see everything, and it's just round and round and it smells the same. And it's like, I went down this whole laundromat journey and then realized, I was like, okay, hold on a second. There's two sides to everything. What is the other side to this? And that's where this whole message for this Scorpio new moon is. So I don't know if everybody's seen Everywhere or Everything Everywhere All at Once. If you haven't, I highly recommend it. Great movie. And there's a lot of laundry scene within that movie, laundromat scenes within that movie. But what it reminded me and what it brought me to was, yes, there is a depressing side of laundromats. There's that soul sucking, like sitting forever, waiting for your clothes to get done, like the monotony of it all. That is absolutely one side. But there is another side. And that is what Everything Everywhere All at Once reminded me of, was there's a very fulfilling side to laundromats. One, it's a business. And most laundromats, yes, I do know that laundromats are chains and all of that, but there are a lot of laundromats that are owned by individuals. And this is what is providing for them and their family. They actually love owning a laundromat, love being part of the community, love doing all of those things. That's very fulfilling. So there's this fulfillment side of it. And then as somebody that would use a laundromat, what your clothes are clean, your blankets are washed, your towels aren't dirty anymore. Like that is also pieces of fulfillment. Now, what I loved about this imagery and what I love about the tower still being present here that came out again is, and this is this energy of the Scorpio new moon, even though it's shitty to go through 3 hours at a laundromat to get your clothes clean, you can be woe is me about that. You can be like, ugh, about that. However, at the end, your clothes are clean. So what this all kind of came to me is no matter during this Scorpio new moon, no matter if you're in the middle of a tower moment, you're in the middle of getting your laundry washed at the laundromat, at the end of all of this, at the end of that, there is fulfillment. Something comes out of it. High effort equals high reward. High effort being going to the laundromat, washing all of your clothes, and then pulling them out and bringing them home. There's your reward. Your clothes are done. So it was really profound because, again, I went into that obsessive cycle, chaotic, right? I immediately got drug into that imagery. And that is what all of this is really about, right? It's about being able to go down that pathway, but to transition, okay, well, how can this bring me fulfillment? This is all on purpose. So how do I, with what I can control, come out the other side? So level setting on the Scorpio new moon. I actually have the chart. Great news, y'all. Solar fire is in the house. I got to figure out, we got to download it. I got to figure out how to play with it first, but we will have live chart readings headed into 2024. I'm so excited. That's going to be a whole new level. But until then, I do have my trusty honeycomb picture, which we will walk through kind of what is happening during this Scorpio new moon. So here is the chart for the moon. You can see that this moon is occurring. Let me just get my little highlighter going here. We're going to go thick. You can see that this moon is occurring at 20 degrees, 44 minutes of Scorpio, which this is the glyph of Scorpio up here. And if we head down on this chart to right here, here is the glyph of Scorpio again, and you will see the moon and the sun conjunct at exactly 20 degrees, 44 minutes, which is what a new moon is all about. So this happens on November 13th at 3:27 in the morning Central Time. So you want to make sure that you do all the maths correctly. And what you'll immediately notice is there's a couple other planets here. We got to get ready because our friend Mars is absolutely conjunct the sun and the moon. So Mars is at 22 degrees, 12 minutes. It's within that 3-degree orb that I like to work with, just depending on the planet. So this Scorpio new moon is conjunct Mars. And it is also this big red line right here, which is an opposition line. This is Uranus retrograde at 21 degrees, 5 minutes of Taurus. So we have another moon that has Uranus present. Thank you, Uranus. Uranus has been greatly active within the eclipse season, greatly active at the end of September and October with Venus. So Uranus is working with us right now, doing a lot of things right now. The conjunction with Mars, who is by traditional rulership, the ruler of this moon, Pluto, who is right here at 28 degrees, 10 minutes of Capricorn, is the modern ruler. And so we want to look at both of those first, but I do want to say that this Mars influence right now is going to be something. I'm going to save the Mars piece till the very end because Mars and the sun are doing a lot together and it really kind of starts to ramp up and amplify at this new moon. So we're going to talk about that at the very, very end. But one thing that this moon had was this energy. So not only did I get the laundromat, right? This kind of whirl and all of that, but I also got a few very key words that wanted to come out. So fuck around and find out. Mars and Uranus, hello opposition, incredibly reactive. There can be reactive energy within this moon leading up to it, on the day of, and going away from it. There can be a lot of purging that could literally be physically, that could be purging like number 2 a lot. It can be auric purging. It can be mentally, it can be energetically, it can be spiritually. But this moon has kind of that impetus to help us like squeeze and purge out the final vestiges of what needs to be there so we can bloom into the new. There's depending upon where this moon falls in your natal chart, this can be incredibly driven energy. With Mars especially, you know, yes, Mars is under the beams. Mars is combust. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But Mars also is in his rulership. So Mars is still significant. Mars is not like, he still has a lot to offer if you can dig in, right? If you can dig in and get there, Mars still has a lot of drive left over. And again, it really depends upon where this is placed within your natal chart, how that might open up for you. And overall, title of this episode, Breaking Open the Unknown. That was one of the key phrases that started me down the laundromat path, was this like something, there's a breaking open of something here and something unknown is coming. Again, this tower, right? So here's Uncle Uranus. Hi, Uncle Uranus, coming to open things up, break open that unknown. And when you think about that terminology, right? Like breaking open the unknown. What does that mean to you? When things open up, what does that mean to you? Is that depressing or is that fulfilling? And it's a very strong message right now with kind of everything that's happening. Because one other thing that you'll notice is we have, let me get the blue here. We have Mars also trining. That's what this blue line is going to be right here. Trining Neptune retrograde at 25 degrees, 2 minutes of Pisces. All right. So the sun and the moon will also then make this same trine as this moon, you know, goes along its merry way. So again, something to think through. But when you begin to open yourself up to asking yourselves, again, this reflection piece, right? Ask yourself these questions. It really comes down to like, it is your choice to have the things that are occurring right now be depressing or fulfilling. And it can be both simultaneously. That's the other thing. It's not like it can be really, really hard. And it can, I had a really hard week and I'm okay. It's okay to have a hard week, right? I know that hard week. What did I learn from it? I can break down the 7 things that I learned in my hard week. And you know what? That's what I'm about. Healing, thriving, growing. Those are my values. Bringing it all the way back to Venus, now in Libra during this moon. You can find her right here at 5 degrees of Libra. So she's bringing back in that value piece, which Uranus may be messing up because this is her home sign over here. We've got Jupiter still at 9 degrees, 9 minutes retrograde doing his little thing, right? So it all comes back to, this is your choice. This is all you. That's what this new moon, this dark secret of the new moon, this breaking open of the unknown, that's what it's all about, is you. And that might be enough to trigger the shit out of you. Fair. Fair. It is an absolute tower moment. I remember my own when I had to admit that I was the single common denominator in all of my failures. It's you. So it can trigger the shit out of Mars. Mars is easily triggered right now. Mars is feeling the heat from the sun because they are so close together. Mars is about to cazimi, which means that the sun and Mars will conjunct. He's feeling it. And the moon is going to show you where those things are at. It's breaking open that understanding. And whatever that piece is, maybe you've been holding on to a timeline or a story that all of a sudden during this moon, you're like, oh my gosh, it was me. Oh my gosh, it was me. And now you have to rectify all of that. What are you going to do about that knowledge? How are you going to handle that knowledge? And it's also, more importantly, showing you this moon, showing you where everyone else is at if you pay attention. So when people around you are going through a tower moment, you know, if you are so focused on you and aren't in that pause, aren't in the observer, I just want to get out my stuff. Like, I need to talk about me. I need to get this off my chest. I need to have my moment here, which Mars can bring that drive and that energy forward. Uranus can like goad a little bit into that as well. And it becomes like you then miss what everybody else is showing you because you're too busy showing everybody else where you're at. There's power in being quiet. There's power in observing. There's power in the pause. And this is one of those moons that collectively has a bit of trigger to it. So if you can, you know what? I'm gonna slow roll into this moon, and I want to observe everybody else and see how they react and interpret how they react. Can be some really useful insights. This is Scorpio. Look, we can dig in. We can get receipts. You said this at this meeting. I took the notes. I got the receipt for it. So, this moon also, I also got the image of a mirror. This moon becomes a mirror. And the questions that came out with this imagery of the mirror were, how do you feel about standing in the mirror and facing yourself? Do you do that? Do you stand in the mirror and like look at yourself and like look into your own eyes to remain honest with yourself, to remain in integrity with yourself? How do you feel about being the mirror for somebody else? Did you know that you're a mirror for other people? Can you identify who those people are? And how do you feel when somebody else is your mirror? Do you take those opportunities to grow? Do you take those opportunities to kind of come inside yourself and go, all right, is this feedback actually valid? Is it for me? If it is, what do I need to do to change? Why does this person trigger me? Why does this person hit my button so much? Because it's not a them thing. This, again, this is all a me thing. If you are consistently getting triggered, your question to yourself becomes, what is this trying to teach me? What is this showing me about myself? And, you know, life has this most, and this is where Neptune can come in, because life is so crazily complex that after even going through all of that and getting to the fact that this is you and it is all about you, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces reminds us that it actually has nothing to do with you. Life's complex. Having a human experience is super complex. And it's really the understanding as it boils down to it, as we get to this apex point right here, this moment in time right here, it boils down to what will set you free. And nothing will set you free but you. Nothing. Nothing in this chart. No archetypes, no other people. It's you. You will set yourself free. All right. So just to finish up with Neptune, but I'm going to drop the chart. Let me hide that. Boom. Here we go. All right. Finishing up with Neptune. Neptune is actually your cool drink of water that you want to tune into. Neptune will help cool Mars down, will help kind of temper the sun a little bit. It will help you flow. Neptune retrograde is awesome because that veil is very clear. It's not this thick, dense fog that is like really hard to like get through and discern with Neptune. So you can actually use Neptune to see what is happening in your life, this tower, from a higher perspective. You can elevate. You can turn it from what your depressing laundromat into your fulfilling laundromat with Neptune's support. And as the sun and the moon meet up after this new moon in Scorpio with Neptune, it really juices your energy cycles and it makes it a lot more clear energetically, insightfully about why kind of this pressure was here, what this tower, like purpose, right? What was happening here, what it was trying to teach you. So you can lean on Neptune for all of that. All right. The last thing I want to talk about before we head to Twitchy Tuesdays is what is really coming up. And this is all to do with Mars, the sun, and the rest of November. Because this is a really prominent energy that I want to level set into so we can use it the way that it needs, that, you know, is for our best and highest good. So since November 1st, Mars and the sun have been within 5 degrees of each other. So what that means is Mars is combust or under the beams of the sun. Now that typically, depending upon what you read or how you read astrology, that can be within 15 degrees of the sun. I am, just for the purposes of this talk, I'm looking at and like this whole kind of chat that we're about to have is working with it being within 5 degrees of each other. So on 11/1, the Mars and the sun were within 5 degrees of each other. And so being combust typically takes a lot out of a planet. It typically is like not the best energy to work with. However, Mars is in his home sign. So it's not necessarily that he's weakened like normal when you're about ready to get into a Kazemi, but he's also not at his full peak. Like he needs rest. He's still tired. You know, it's kind of like coming off of, I mean, since November, we were getting eclipsy anyways. It's like when you're still doing things, but you're hungover doing them. It's like that energy. And then we have Uranus influencing it all. So yeah, there's this like, you just look, you got to put on your face. Look, I was the generation, definitely, like if anybody else did this, like we would go out to the club until 8 a.m. and then I would literally drive straight to work. It's that feeling, that whole next day at work where you're like, why do I do this to myself? It's that kind of feeling. So they're going to follow each other this entire month. Mars and the sun are going to be playing this little game of follow the entire month of November and into December. If you remember last week, I was like, it's a bleeding month. Yeah, this is exactly why. All of this energy from October bled into November, and now November's bleeding into December. This is a perfect example of that. It won't be until December 6th when they pull away more than 5 degrees from each other. So date-wise, 11-1 within 5 degrees under the beams combust. 11-13, the sun, moon, and Mars are all conjunct in a 3-degree orb. The Mars cazimi, where the sun and Mars are exactly conjunct, happens on 11-17 at 11:41 p.m. Central at 25 degrees 37 minutes. This is where Mars is born renewed, especially in Scorpio. This is the epitome of the phoenix rising from the ashes. This is the epitome of Icarus's journey right here. So Mars is born renewed, goes forward, and thank goodness he is born renewed, because on the 20th and 21st, the sun will go first, Mars will follow. They will sextile Pluto and Capricorn. So the sun will do that at 28 degrees, 18 minutes. Mars will follow right behind at 28 degrees, 19 minutes. So then on the 22nd and 24th, they will both go into Sagittarius, sun going first, Mars following. Then on the 23rd and 25th, just like we talked about, everything that goes into Sag is going to have a square to Saturn and then go through Sag and have a square to Neptune at the end. So their square to Saturn, the sun will happen at 0 degrees, 50 minutes, and Mars will be at 0 degrees, 55 minutes. And we got the 6 of Cups, and Death wanted to come out again. Lots of similar cards, similar messages like this. Again, I just keep feeling like all of the energy is bleeding into each other, this Death card and this repeated cards over and over. So Mars gets rebirthed. Mars and the sun going first, sextiles Pluto, ingresses into Sag, squares Saturn. Mars follows right behind, following that suit. So now Mars is chasing the sun, like chasing that limelight, like going after what he wants and like getting that energy to like come back and revive and be in life again. And this aligns actually with the 6 of Cups for me, where you will see between the cazimi, between the Scorpio new moon, between Pluto and Capricorn, between ingressing into Sag, between the square with Saturn, you are going to see all the things, all 6 of these cups got their eye on you. You will see them. So what are you going to do about it? All of the things that maybe were hidden during Scorpio, maybe were a little deep, or you chose to suppress, you will see. Because Saturn is checking the shit out of everything right now, going into Sag. Like that just total, I've been having a bunch of Jurassic Park moments. You can't do that. It's Saturn now is direct and is like, hold time out. You just went through Scorpio and you didn't do the things you needed to do. Oh no. No, Saturn ain't going to have that. So Saturn's going to be able to provide these 6 of Cups, this clarity on the things that are out there, the things that Mars now has a spotlight on him for, the things that need to happen, and what are you going to do about it? Then we have this card with the Death, right? We've got Pluto and Capricorn ingressing into Sag, squaring Saturn. Never let a crisis go to waste. Never let a crisis go to waste. There is always, no matter what is occurring, no matter what is present, there is always something that you can do. You have control of what you can control, which is yourself. This is all about you, right? You have control of self. You have control of how you react. You have control of the changes that you choose to make. You have control of the direction that you put yourself in. You have levels of control, excuse me. You have levels of possibility with what you can control. Are you choosing to see it? And again, I don't think you can ignore it. This Six of Cups and this death, I don't think you can ignore it. I think it's in your face. I think it's in your face. So we just watched Whiplash, and this movie is exactly this Mars Sun moment in time. Highly recommend if you haven't seen it. It is on Netflix, and really the movie in general is phenomenal, but that last scene right before the end, when the spotlight is on, when you are sitting at Carnegie Hall being made a mockery of, literally you see your entire world being shit on and pushed down the drain. What are you going to do? Walk off the stage or stay and become great? That whole scene is exactly this moment that Mars, the sun, and their journey together through November into December is really going to be about. All right. Before we get to the Twitchy tip of the week, Saturday, I did another YouTube live for the all zodiac signs reading. That is a whole tarot reading for the entire month of November, beginning, middle, and end, looking at the masculine and feminine energies needed for each sign to get through November. That is up now on my page. It's chaptered for each sign. So if you want to go straight to the sign that you resonate with the most, feel free. Be sure to check that out. And as you can tell, we've kind of changed a little bit of, well, maybe you can tell, but we've got kind of Twitchy Tuesdays, still pulling the tarot, but doing so not maybe in a full spread or anything, because I'm really being called to continue to do more tarot readings like that for the all zodiac signs, and really doing them as separate lives where they can be really in-depth, messages can really come through, etc., and they are channeled. So that's why on YouTube, you want to make sure that you follow, subscribe, turn on the alerts. So that way, when I go live, you know about it. Or when a new video posts, you know about that as well, like the 12th House podcast. So that has launched. There are 2 episodes up on my YouTube channel as well. That's the heal portion of Habitual Sages, where we talk about all kinds of things. The last one was about cooking. I'm actually creating the next one, which is going to be all about, what did I say? Hold on. Idealism. Look, Saturn and Pisces stationing direct was doing a whole bunch of things. So I've got the idealism tip on that one. I'm kind of creating that right now and what that looks like and everything. So be sure to stay tuned. All right. Twitchy tip of the week. Channeled messages. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. You got 5. All right. First one. Don't forget about Chiron. Don't forget about Chiron. We don't want to forget about him. Second one. You can't change what is happening, but you can change how you react to it and what you choose to do with it. Second message. Third message. Blink and it's gone. That was what was channeled. Don't know why, but that message is out there for somebody that needs it. There is power in the purpose. Fourth message. And the fifth and final message for our Twitchy tip of the week. Reminder that we are still eclipsy. We are drunk on eclipse energy, and going into this Scorpio new moon absolutely is no exception to that. It is still a very eclipse energy ridden moon. Do not do much. We talked about that. What you should do way out in the eclipse, all of the eclipse stuff that we did. It's okay to stay on mute. It's okay to stay home. Permission to be in your compound and not go outside. It's okay to not speak. It's okay to not provide opinions. It's okay to wait, think it through. And please watch your driving and physical movements during this time. Just watch, observe, make sure that you're conscious. You're not just out there running or driving and you're not like in your conscious being. Be conscious about where you choose to put your body. Be conscious about where how you choose to drive, all of those other things. So that is the Twitchy tip of the week. And that means that Twitchy Tuesdays is over for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you next week. Make sure to go check out those tarot readings. They were really, really powerful. And we do talk in that middle section about the energy, masculine and feminine, that is needed to get through this Scorpio new moon. All right. Bye, everyone.